This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
So since you're talking about press releases, we found one of yours, our crack research team, and they quoted as saying, "Our show fills a void currently in the marketplace with its fast-paced storylines and total nonstop action. We will give fans, as well as those who might have stopped watching wrestling in the past year, a new entertainment experience." I bring this quote up because anyone who's listening to this or who looks at your Twitter knows that you're one hell of a promotion guy. You've been on God knows how many radio shows and done, I can't tell you how many interviews just promoting the launch of this podcast. How focused was your marketing effort to get the word out here about all things total nonstop action?
What a challenge, because 20 years ago, it's not like it is today. Today, you can send a tweet. And if you do enough impressions, and the words impressions better than I do, you can really get up there. And I did an interview yesterday in the Green Bay market, but the Green Bay market shared it with, in the Cumulus family. But in those days, 19 years ago, it's super challenging. But using those words, if you want to read the first couple lines or words of that press release, a void in the marketplace.
Yep.
Okay. Those words I noticed when I talked to Richard Scrushy, when I talked to In Demand, like the very first couple of conversations, even with my father and one of the, just sort of shooting the shit, so to say, back and forth. I said, the void is there. It just is. I think in a lot of ways, that's what AEW has capitalized on. They got out an 8-lane highway on TNT and so the void in the marketplace is real. People say they hate change, but they always crave new. That's sort of a paradoxical component of the human emotion. We can't change this. Oh, but no, that's old. I want something new. So void in the marketplace was something that In Demand specifically latched on to, that they knew from their revenue that WCW went away, and they wanted to replace that revenue and were willing, supposedly, to do anything they possibly could. But, why wouldn't they? They had no risk involved as well.
I guess we should also mention, when we're talking about change, one of the things I like to say around the office is nobody wants change, but everybody loves improvement. So as much as you hate change, if it's an improvement, it's not a change. Like, we all want improvement. We just don't want change for the sake of change. And you're trying something new here. And by the way, when our crack research team found some of these press releases, at the bottom, there's a fucking awesome little Easter egg. Contact media, Dixie Carter, public relations of Trifecta Entertainment. So on all of these press releases at the bottom, if you want to contact to talk about all things TNA, reach out to Dixie Carter, public relations of Trifecta Entertainment. How about that?
See what kind of recall? 615-254-3333.
Is that Trifecta Entertainment's phone number?
Tell me what does it say that on that? Are you looking at the press release? I'm not sure if you are, but anyway, I just remember, yes. And that was Dixie, from the very first conversation, and certainly during this time, she wasn't by any stretch of the imagination schooled on wrestling or even the concept of pay-per-view, but she knew how to field calls and direct them and prioritize them, do exactly what a PR agent should do.
Fascinating to me that this is, and I guess we'll talk about it another time, but yeah, this isn't the first time that you meet Dixie. We'll come back to that another day. There's a nationally syndicated story by Scott Sloan that mentions TNA in a blurb about how there's a new promotion coming out. In the story about how independent wrestlers are feeling the squeeze of WCW and ECW closing, and they only have one game in town, they get a quote from Dory Funk Jr. that says, quote, "Funk said the new promotion, which features some WCW wrestlers who were not picked up by WWE after the purchase, could mean more jobs for aspiring wrestlers. Most analysts, though, expect the promotion to fail."
Mm-hmm.
So listen, you're spinning as much as you can all these plates in the media trying to get the word out about your new promotion. But anytime you flip over to the old quote unquote dirt sheets, people are pretty critical of the idea. How often do you think you were told this will fail before you ever ran your first show?
Every day for the first 2 years after June 19th, 2002. I had in the office, out of the office. And if people deny that, oh no, I could probably put on one hand. Jeremy Borash was always pretty dead gun positive. I mean, Bob Ryder got super negatives, we won't get into names, but I was told that time after time after time after time. And I'm like, okay, fail. I was more diplomatic than that, but yeah, I was told, I read, it's life. It's like the USFL and XFL, or other football leagues trying to get out of the gate. And yes, it is super challenging. I mean, like crazy challenging. And think of the money that was behind, XFL. I hate to use that example; it's just in the news right now. But yes, starting a national promotion in 2001, the odds were extremely against not just me, anybody that was going to try it at the time.
Do you remember there being one piece of media that you were excited to land when you're trying to do a press tour here and get awareness out there? Is there one thing that hits that you're like, hot damn, we made it in so-and-so?
Dixie had a PR tour that we got in the trades, and I was like, okay, that's not going to really sell buys, but it can, when I would talk to specific, individual talent, I'll say specific individual talent, them, they're guys that I'd worked with, some, 2 times, sometimes 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. But just the concept of, talent by nature, are skeptical. It's insecure business. That's the reality of the situation. So every little piece of media that we could get in trades would legitimize us, not only with the general public, and maybe not the general buying public, but just the general public, but also, another impression, and then a talent can pick it up. And then, whether it's an action figure or any type of licensee, any type of merchandise, talent, it was just like, it literally was. And I used to say this often in the early days, guys, it's crawl, walk, run. It's just that simple. It's baby steps. Dutch would go on to use that as well, in the context that, guys, we got to start somewhere. We're not just going to drop out of the sky and all of a sudden be doing this rating or this buy rate or drawing this many people. You got to start somewhere, and getting market share is another term that I know you're well aware of. But getting market share, especially prior to social media, in a broad context like it is now, or the internet, it just wasn't an easy task by any stretch of the imagination. You're chuckling.
Well, I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. Do you really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, so what are you waiting for? Hurry to savewithconrad.com. There's rumor and innuendo at the time that you're trying to put together a rematch of a celebrity boxing match. You want Joni Lauer and Joey Buttafuoco. Boy, this has Vince Russo's fingerprints all over it. I can't think this was your dad's idea. Do you remember this idea even being discussed?
No, this is 100% Jarrett's idea. I mean, he came into the office. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Yes, this is 100%. No, it's Vince. Vince, the celebrity boxing, I don't even want to call it franchise because that's not fair to say, but
it was a thing. It was a fad.
That's it. Okay, fad. Yeah. Vince was enamored with it, completely enamored.
And I get it. I mean, listen,
we just saw one this past week.
We did.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.